Guys, I'm sure that everyone would agree that WrestleMania 31 was perhaps the best, or at least most successful WrestleMania in recent times. Unfortunately, the same could not be said about WrestleMania 32. Wrestling fans wondered how WWE could possibly fill the 100,000-seat AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, given the weak card that was put together. WrestleMania 32 was supposed to be the true granddaddy of them all. WWE had lofty goals of beating their old attendance record of 93,000, and they got to work putting together the ultimate supercard filled with dream matches and incredible once-in-a-lifetime matches. Anyone who was still capable of wrestling for the company was contacted. However, WWE ran into some major problems in the weeks leading up to the big event, as several big names turned down WWE's offer for their own respectable reasons, and to make things worse for Vinnie Mac, the best active wrestlers in the company got injured. The end result was a card that had a real lack of star power. Today we'll be taking a look at 11 planned storylines and matches that were initially planned for WrestleMania 32 but were cancelled. Number 11, Brock Lesnar vs. The Undertaker. This match was reportedly set all the way back after SummerSlam when Undertaker defeated Brock in revenge for ending the streak by kicking him repeatedly in the crotch. At the time, the plan was to have the match take place at WrestleMania inside Hell in a Cell. So why didn't this match take place? Well, ratings started to decline after SummerSlam as John Cena took a vacation and fans weren't interested with Seth Rollins' feud with Corporate Kane. Vince panicked and in an attempt to prop up ratings booked Taker Lesnar 3 for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Number 10, Roman Reigns vs. John Cena. We will probably get this match in the coming years, but this was a great opportunity missed. The original plan was for Roman Reigns to beat Seth Rollins at Survivor Series and then go on to face John Cena at WrestleMania 32. The current face of the company against the future face of the company, this match would definitely be a symbolic passing of the torch. So why didn't this match take place? Seth Rollins' unexpected injury turned all the plans upside down. Roman ended up winning the title at the pay-per-view only to lose it to Sheamus, who cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase. With the way Roman's booking was going since then, it seemed the plans for a Reigns vs. Cena match was postponed. Guys, do you want to see this feud in the future? Number 9, Triple H vs. Seth Rollins. After Seth Rollins turned on the Shield back in 2014, he quickly became the man for the Authority and one of the biggest stars in WWE. His rise to superstardom was further cemented when he became Mr. Money in the Bank and cashed in successfully to become WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He would defend his title against big names including Randy Orton and his former Shield brothers Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. Seth was treated like the successor to Triple H. Everything was going Seth's way before Sting appeared on Monday Night Raw and made the shocking challenge to Seth for his title at the Night of Champions pay-per-view. During the run-up to the big event, Sting would taunt Rollins, telling him that he was only half the man that Triple H was. Seth responded that he was better than Triple H, who was his mentor at the time. This would be the start of the feud between the two. They were originally supposed to wrestle at Survivor Series. The plan was for Kane and J&J Security to interfere and help Triple H win the title and subsequently injure Rollins after the match. Later, it was planned that Seth would make a return as a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble and headline WrestleMania against the King of Kings, Triple H. So why didn't this match take place? Seth faced off against Kane at a house show in Dublin, Ireland, where he landed badly and tore his ACL, MCL, and median meniscus. And as you all know, Rollins underwent multiple surgeries and as a result was stripped of the title. He would be out of action for up to 9 months and had no chance of returning on time to face Triple H at WrestleMania. Number 8, Roman Reigns vs. Brock Lesnar. The main event of WrestleMania 31 was a major clash between the unbeatable WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar and the winner of the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns. This match is remembered for the unexpected Money in the Bank cash-in by Seth Rollins, who went on to leave the show with the belt. While Roman and Brock technically both lost, the world was still wondering who was the better man. It was obvious that there would be a rematch eventually, and with both men at the top of the company, WrestleMania 32 was the time to do it. So why didn't this match take place? Reigns' road to WrestleMania 32 had been rocky to say the least. After WWE decided he wasn't popular enough to walk out of WrestleMania 31 as champion, the company spent months trying to get fans to accept him. Another match with Lesnar would be risky in terms of reaction, but it was still a safe direction from a storytelling and match quality perspective. Once Rollins got hurt though, the entire card was shuffled. Triple H was out of an opponent, and the decision was made to give him Roman Reigns. Number 7. Steve Austin vs. Brock Lesnar. Given that WrestleMania 32 was going to take place in Texas, there was more speculation than ever that Stone Cold Steve Austin would come out of retirement for that one last match. Here's a look at why the WWE Universe deserves that one last match. 1. His retirement match was kept a secret. Steve Austin was one of the biggest names in the Attitude Era. He was the main draw for the WWF during 1998, 99, and 2001. He drew record pay-per-view numbers, made record amounts of merchandise money, and brought in record live crowds. It's fair to comment that he was probably bigger than Vince McMahon and without a doubt one of the wrestlers who revolutionized pro wrestling. Then came WrestleMania 19. Austin met with Vince McMahon in the run-up to the show to tell Vince that he would need to retire for medical reasons. Losing his top draw would be very bad for Vince, but there was no choice other than to let Austin go given his injuries. Vince is a businessman though and didn't want to announce Austin's retirement before WrestleMania. Instead, he booked Austin's last match against The Rock. Austin was fired in storyline by Eric Bischoff the day after WrestleMania 19. Then Austin would have an interview with WWE.com in which he announced his retirement. Given how incredible Austin was, it's a shame that his retirement match was kept a secret. It stopped fans from being able to celebrate his career. There really wasn't any closure. Number 2. WrestleMania in Texas without Austin? No chance. Texas is a pretty big state, and if there's one thing Texans are loyal to, it's other Texans. So in order to draw the largest possible crowd in Dallas, it would only make sense to have a Texan compete in the main event. And there's no one more Texan in WWE than Steve Austin, not even The Undertaker or Shawn Michaels. Number 3. Unfinished business from 2002. The Austin and Lesnar feud goes all the way back to 2002 when Austin left the WWE rather than lose to Brock Lesnar on a random Raw match. This story, along with the way Lesnar himself left WWE, would make for the perfect starting point for a feud at WrestleMania 32. So why didn't this match take place? To put it simply, Austin just wasn't that interested in the match. Even though WWE would probably have given the man a blank check, 51-year-old Stone Cold did not want to get in the ring with a beast like Lesnar. However, fans got their hopes raised after Paul Heyman, the advocate of the Beast, appeared on the Stone Cold podcast, and during their conversation, Austin practically challenged Lesnar to a match, but Austin later apologized, explaining that he got lost in the moment but had no intentions of ever wrestling again. It was obvious that the match wasn't going to happen when Lesnar himself appeared on the Stone Cold podcast later that year in October, and there was nothing to build up a possible match. Number 6. Brock Lesnar vs. Bray Wyatt. Brock Lesnar couldn't reprise his feud against The Undertaker, God knows why, and none of the company's mid-card talents had been pushed hard enough to make a good opponent for the Beast. On the Raw before the Royal Rumble, the Wyatt family laid out Lesnar, and it looked like the question had been answered. Sure enough, they all locked horns in the Rumble match, with Lesnar eliminating Braun Strowman, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan. When Lesnar got face-to-face with Bray Wyatt, though, the eliminated members of his stable rushed to the ring and dumped the Beast out. So why didn't this match take place? It was expected that the Wyatt family would get involved in a triple threat match at Fastlane for the #1 contendership. There was interference, but it came from Dean Ambrose. This was indeed a surprise. The Lunatic Fringe cost Brock Lesnar his chance at the title and earned himself a WrestleMania match with the Beast. Given how weak the top of the card for WrestleMania was, it was decided that the card needed something other than one more failed Bray Wyatt feud. Number 5. Triple H vs. The Rock. You might remember that Triple H and The Rock had a confrontation at WrestleMania 31. It was intended to build up a match between the two rivals. Vince had grand plans of cashing in on the first ever match between the two at WrestleMania. Given that Triple H was the top heel in the company at the time and had just defeated the Icon Sting, it was the perfect time for the Great One to knock him down a peg. The match would have been a big deal for Attitude Era fans and post-Attitude Era fans alike. So why didn't this match take place? Rock signed on to film Baywatch, but also gave his word to Vince that he would wrestle a match at WrestleMania 32. However, the producers of Baywatch didn't want him to be risking his health, and his insurers wouldn't cover him for wrestling. This isn't that surprising given how The Rock injured himself during his WrestleMania 29 match with John Cena, which caused a big filming delay for his movie Hercules, resulting in huge losses to the producers. The Rock may always love WWE, but right now his job is to be a superstar in Hollywood. Although his segment with John Cena plus his 6-second win against Eric Rowan was WrestleMania 32 memorable, fans would still have wanted to see Triple H vs. The Rock for perhaps one last time. Number 4. Stephanie McMahon vs. Ronda Rousey. Stephanie McMahon got involved in the confrontation between Triple H and The Rock. The Great One had some backup of his own with then UFC Bantamweight champion Ronda Rousey. Rousey, who is a lifetime fan of WWE, sat ringside for the show but was brought into the ring by The Rock to confront Stephanie. Rousey definitely got involved, taking out both Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. When it looked like the obvious match was a mixed tag between the foursome, apparently WWE wanted to get 2 singles matches out of it instead. So why didn't this match take place? Rousey wanted to compete at WrestleMania 32 just as much as The Rock did. It would have been a dream for her. However, UFC President Dana White wasn't interested in letting one of his biggest draws potentially get injured during athletic competition on someone else's show. Rousey continued to tease appearing in WWE, and even though she's had a few losses, she's still a contracted UFC performer and won't be able to appear in WWE until she finishes with the company completely. Number 3. Sting vs. Bray Wyatt. Sting and Vince McMahon came together and agreed that Bray Wyatt would be the Icon's last opponent in his retirement match at WrestleMania 32. The story goes that Sting would beat Wyatt and fade into black on a high note. So why didn't this match take place? Sting returned to the company in September 2015, issuing the challenge to Seth Rollins for his World Heavyweight Championship at Night of Champions. Despite being 56 at the time, Sting put on a great match. However, disaster struck near the end of the match, and Sting was left with a serious neck injury following a turnbuckle powerbomb. Sting managed to finish the match before having surgery to correct his cervical spinal stenosis, which is the injury that caused Stone Cold Steve Austin and Edge to retire when they were over a decade younger than the Stinger. Sting decided to end his illustrious 3-decade-long career as the result of the injury and was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Number 2. The Undertaker vs. Braun Strowman. When Vince was preparing the WrestleMania 32 card, fans were shocked to hear that Vinnie Mac was planning on putting The Undertaker against the Wyatt family's Braun Strowman. We all know that Taker has only a couple of matches left in the tank, and a bout against the completely inexperienced Strowman would be a waste of the Phenom's legacy. Still, the gigantic Strowman was clearly being protected in company booking, and Vince McMahon's love for pushing massive muscle men made the rumors believable. So why didn't this match take place? The Undertaker is a true legend, a once-in-a-lifetime talent that we really could never see again. When fans heard about this news, an overwhelmingly negative response was doing the rounds on the internet. It's believed that this reaction could be one of the reasons why WWE decided to drop the match and come up with something better for Undertaker. Number 1. John Cena vs. The Undertaker. It's true that some of the money matches WWE come up with don't work out too well, but there is still an ultimate dream match left between John Cena and The Undertaker. These two haven't faced off in the ring since 2003, and the match only gets hotter each year that passes. Vince felt that WrestleMania 32 was the perfect chance for the match and penciled in this Battle of the Legends for April 3rd. So why didn't this match take place? John Cena suffered a debilitating shoulder injury during the first week of 2016 and had to have surgery. He would get his surgery on January 7th and was expected to be out for up to 9 months. Of course, Super Cena was expected to come back earlier, with some believing he could still somehow make it back in time to face The Undertaker, but unfortunately, he didn't. So, John Cena was out and Shane McMahon was in. Guys, on one hand, I'm happy that a few matches didn't take place, and on the other hand, I feel sad we missed witnessing some great matches. What are your thoughts? Which matches did you want to see, and which ones are you glad didn't take place? Please share your comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.